Samarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavirjang Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Namaste and welcome to you all. We have been doing this Bhagavad Gita online for the last 14 weeks, and on every Saturday. This is our 15th session. This Bhagavad Gita classes were held in the Hindu temple of Allentown, and from the Arshavidya teachers, by the Arshavidya teachers, which has gone online these days. We have been seeing the second chapter, and last session we stopped with Arjuna's question. In the second chapter, in the 54th shloka, Arjuna asks a question based on the 53rd shloka by Bhagavan Sri Krishna. In the 53rd shloka, Bhagavan mentions regarding Samadhau Achala Buddhi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. This yoga, either Karma Yoga, especially Jnana Yoga, Samadhau Achala Buddhi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. When this person, the wise man, is having his buddhi without any vikalpa. Buddhi means mind. Without any vikalpa means without any doubt, error, or vagueness, when it is steady in the nature, in the inherent nature of oneself, in what one in reality is, then there is no going back. So that kind of a samadhi was described in shloka 53, and then Arjuna has a question, because there was a seed for question in this 53rd shloka. Arjuna's question was, Arjuna uvacha Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. This was Arjuna's question. Kim means what or how. What? Bhagavan Bhashyakara converts to how. Ka bhasha. Ka also means what. What is the description of this Sthita Prajna? The one who has obtained this samadhi in terms of in line with the self-knowledge, knowledge of the self. What was the description of the person was Arjuna's question. And then he had the other part of the question where we stopped. The second part of the question was, how would this person walk, talk? In general, how would this person conduct himself? So Bhagavan has to answer this question. So then the next shloka would be starting with Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So let us see the shloka first. You can read after me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atman yevatmana tushtah sthita prajnastadochyate. This word sthita prajna was coined by Arjuna, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna recognizes, authenticates that word by using the same word, Sthita Prajnas Tadochyate. Sthita Prajna, the wise man, the wise person, is the one, Uchyate, is being said. What is that? He Partha, he Arjuna, yada, 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 as and when, manogatan. The word, you see, the last word in the first line is manogatan. Manogatan, which means as and when you combine yada and manogatan, as and when in the mind, sarvan kaman, all kinds of, all pairs of desires, extreme likes and dislikes. Why would you say sarvan? Because it can be either something which someone is so attached to, or someone, whether something which one is possessed of, we could say, that much of an connection, or it can be something which one wants to get rid of. So all these kinds of opposite sets of strong desires. Prajahati, as and when he grows out of it, or he gives up, or it drops off, as and when. How would it happen? Because when something goes, in spirituality, if you're a sadhaka, something better has to come, right? Atmana, Atmaniyeva tushta. So if all the desires, in terms of all the extreme pairs of opposites, have lost their teeth, then it has to. Then where will the person be? Be content? How will he be content? How will he be satisfied? Then what will fetch satisfaction? If the very cause of satisfaction, desire, is disappeared, then it says Atmana Atmani eva tushtaha. Atmani tushtaha. He is happy with oneself. She is happy with oneself. And in the wake of the knowledge of the self, Atmana, Atma Jnanena, Atmana. Atmana is instrumental case, grammatical instrumental case, which means he is happy in himself, with himself or herself, with oneself. And tada sthita prajna uchite. In that, when this is there, when this is there, then we can describe that person as sthita prajna, as a wise man, wise person. We'll see those details as we see the description, the details by Swamiji. So, as I told you, in this verse, as you can see, before anything, there are a lot of notes regarding how and why would you want to know about a wise person. We should all pursue to be that wise person. But what is the big use of knowing regarding how the wise person conducts and all that? It might be obvious to you. The reason why we would like to know is because whatever the characters of the wise person, how he conducts himself, they become our benchmark for our sadhana. they don't become the benchmark for judging the wise person. Okay, so there was this person who could perform miracles, and he went to some place, and they were all very thrilled, and they would not let him go. They would catch him and keep making him doing the miracles to all those people from the neighboring village and all that. And so he was totally gone. He was exhausted. That person is lost his all his energy, and he was about to die. So people have all sorts of notions regarding who is a wise person, and they are already judgmental regarding who is a wise person. A wise person, would he eat? As Puja Swamiji says, would he have a headache? Even before that, Puja Swamiji says, would he have a head? Or inside the head, would there be a brain or something else? I might sound like exaggerating, but we have our own notions regarding wise man. So this is all not for what we're going to see, is not for judging, not to be more judgmental, but to actually be non-judgmental, which is a lakshana. Being non-judgmental is one of the characteristics of a wise person. So we also should imbibe that. So these are all the description which you're going to see are something which we look up to, we look forward to take up in our own pursuit for this self-knowledge. And these are something to keep. These are all these great qualities which we're going to see are something to keep forever. The wise man having all this would mean once upon a time he was also a sadhaka like you and me, and he gained all these qualities, and they stayed with him. That is why we are able to see and get inspired and motivated to obtain the same, right? So they stay forever. Not like the sadhana is this sadhana or this means or not something which is like a boat. You used to go from one shore to the other shore and give up. No, they are like ornaments. As Puja Swami says, they are your abhushana. Bhushana, they are your ornaments. They're going to stay with you forever. Embellishments as your characteristic, they're going to become your own. That is a spirit here. Like suppose if you go to a new country, they have a new language, you learn the language to conduct yourself in that country. Then the language, once you come back, does not disappear. It stays with you. Likewise. So Bhagavan, so when he responds also, Bhagavan takes up this responsibility of presenting them as both the lakshana, the qualities, and also something as a sadhana, means for all of us. That is the way Bhagavan himself has taken upon himself. Say, for example, sympathy, love, freedom, giving. All these are natural expressions of a wise man. Won't we also would like to take upon ourselves to be more sympathetic, more giving? Because there is some reluctance, right? There is a reluctance, and when there is a reluctance, say for example, towards giving, then we overcome that by more giving. So this is all going to make us more emotionally matured also. So now the question is, can you be happy if you give up all desires? Because here I told you that as if it sounded as if one has to give all desires. Because what we see in reality, we see our happiness starts with fulfilling of our desires. we fulfill our desires and gain happiness. So, if you give up desires, then we are giving up the means to be happy. Is it not so? And but then we exist, we survive. Once, if you suppose technically or theoretically, if someone gives up all desires, also he survives. When he survives, he has to survive upon something. So that is the thing. So we have to see what does this giving up all desires means in terms of our Puja Swamiji. Now, if you take the word prajahati, prajahati is the first word, right? It's a verb. Prakarshena jahati, parityajati, parityajati. The English word perimeter. The peri is basically pari in Sanskrit, pari. And so parityajati means all round giving up. There's a giving up in totality, giving up to a level where it doesn't disturb him anymore. They don't bother him anymore. Just like that, a 10-year-old child will give up all his marbles to his younger brother, with who he would fight. Maybe a couple of years before he would fight. Or just like that older sister who would not mind to her younger sister to give whatever animal cracker she likes. If she likes the animal cracker shaped like rabbit, she would give it. Why would does it bother her now? No, it won't. It may not. Why? Because she knows all the animal crackers, they have the same taste. That knowledge is there, so the giving up is so effortless. So that is the prajahati. Yada yasmin kale sarvan samastan kaman, right? Sarvan kaman, that verse is there. Sarvan. So it's an easy translation would be all, but then you have to see as what is all? All is ishta, anishta. That kind of an all. This side and that side, both sides, in the from the bin of what he likes and from the bin of what he dislikes. Also, there's a giving up of strong likes and dislikes. Kaman means strong likes and dislikes. We can say icha bhogan he partha manogatan. See, very reasonably they have put it. Manogatan, as and when it appears, he gives up. That is the manogatan word here. That is very reasonable, right? It's not that he is devoid of all desires and he is just empty, is in a condition of state of vacuum or something. No, they come. Desires come. We'll see. Because the hetu, the reason, the objects of desires are all around, right? So they do have their impression. This wise man is not a buddhu in the sense he recognizes the desires. They come, he recognizes, but he just doesn't execute when it is not required. He executes when it is required also. Like Bhagavan Sri Krishna is executing his desire to teach Arjuna. Bhagavan, when our Arjuna says, Bhagavan, you please ride my chariot, it was Arjuna's desire. It became, then once Bhagavan catches the reins of the horses, it becomes his desire. He's taken upon himself and he does that. So desires don't bother him, and desires are not against his sense of right and wrong. The desires which are against right and wrong, that kind of a desires, they go away from that person, or they don't bother him. Not go away is not the right word. They don't bother him anymore. That would be the right word. So now, coming back to this question, can you be happy if you give up desires? We had that question, right? So as we see, say a mad person, The two types of mad person Shankaracharya describes, because he's also, I'm not raising this question. In the parampara, they are raising this question and answering for our own clarity. In the parampara, they're doing it, right? So that is how it has become it has become a part of my presentation. Now in the parampara, they're saying a mad person. Now for him also, there's no desires, by the way, because mind itself is not functioning. The adhisthana, the place where the desire happens, it is all messed up, right? So there's no desire in the real sense. But then what do you see? Even a mad person goes looking for food, goes looking for water, right? He goes looking around for water and food. So likewise, if this person also, this wise person which we are seeing here, if he also gives up all desires, then he also has to go around like the mad person after food and water. Or there are some people who give up desires because they are influenced by some substance. They're so content as long as that nasha, that effect of the substance is there on them. That is what they call in this country substance abuse. So that is all being covered. Unmatta, pramatta. Unmatta is a mad person whose mind is not messed up. Pramatta is the person who is normal most of the times, but when he's then he can go crazy because of some external substance. So he also has no desires, but he also has to go for eating and thing. He has to. So it is not in that way. This why then you have to see what makes him happy. This wise person, how is he going to be happy if he is not going to be depending on something? If he is not going to be a mad person, then the answer is he is happy in himself or herself, in oneself. Himself, herself puts some akara. If when I say himself, it becomes as if the physical. No, in oneself you take. That person is happy in oneself, in himself or herself. I'm just using already I said because just to make it clear. Now everyone who is happy, he's happy in himself only. Ultimately, the happiness is in him only. So what is so distinctive about this person? This person, he is, she is, but the person is happy in oneself without any props. There is no external props. He is happy by himself. Atmana. He is happy by himself. Atmana. Atmanyeva pratyagatma swarupa eva. What is by himself? By himself means the pratyagatma swarupa. This word pratyagatma, pratak, he knows very crystal clearly what he is inherently, and he is these kamas don't disturb him. Inherently he knows. Svena eva bahya labha nirapeksha, without any dependence on external source of happiness. Tushtaha. Tushtaha would mean happy. The happy word is a very it's a word for children. Happy is a word for children. And joy, happy, these are all words for children. For us, content, satisfied, and secure. As Puja Swami puts it, secure. He is secure. He is in a total state of inner security is there. And how is that? See, this person is in a total state of inner security, because for this, when we say that Atmani and all, when I say hand like that, it's not that someone inside. It's not about that. In fact, this body is inside his consciousness. This body is inside his consciousness, her consciousness. Not that he is inside this body as a source of consciousness. The fact the body is inside his consciousness, in the sense that the body is just an expression of his consciousness. So that kind of a knowledge. So when the sugar crystal, if you take, if it knows it is sugar crystal, why would it go around and seek sweetness? Why would the sugar crystal go, if it knows it is a sugar crystal, why would it go around and seek sweetness? Can you make the sugar crystal more sweet? Can you add, if you add more sugar to a sugar crystal, would it make the sugar more sweet? Would it make it sweeter? See, that kind of when that is the state condition of this wise person, why would he chase after his strong likes and dislikes, right? So this is the explanation Shankaracharya has given there, and we have to be very reasonable here. Now let us take another scenario. Suppose in order to be happy, we saw that we need to fulfill desires, and we resolved it by saying that how this person is happy in spite of his desires. Right? We saw that. Now, now if you translate this as he has to give up all desires, there's one translation. Most of the translators who translate as he has to give up all desires, then he is a wise person. And they won't be able to describe the wise person also, in line with what Shankaracharya, if they have not studied Shankaracharya. So, suppose if you say that he has to give up all desires, then I am happy when the desires are fulfilled. So to give up all desires, what I wanted to say is, to be able to give up all desires, you have to be happy. And to be happy, you have to be one for whom all the desires are fulfilled. So this is kind of a catch-22 circle. And Pujya Swamiji gives an example. In a village, there's a person who has got some mental issue. Seems it was not a big issue. They went to the astrologer. Instead of going to the doctor or the psychiatrist, they went to the astrologer. The astrologer said it'll all be okay. You'll soon be okay. He has to just get married. If he gets married, he'll be okay. So in order to get a girl, this person, he cannot be he has to be normal. And he can become normal only when he gets married. And if they try to hide and try to get a girl for him, the villagers, as and when the bridegroom comes, they would ask him, "Where are you going?" If they say, "I'm going to this person's house to look the boy for my girl," they would give it away. They may not give it away directly, but they would give it away in a very subtle way. "Oh, that person, that house. Ah, you see. I see. You must be a very, very big-hearted man." They would tell this father or mother of the bride, "You must be a very generous person. You must be a very kind person." And they would slightly mention about that boy also. He is usually okay, but sometimes he gets into some problem, but otherwise he's okay. That is enough, right? So this is a situation. So that is why there's a problem when you say you have to give up all desires to be happy. So that is very important, right? It's not about giving up. So that is why we have to be very reasonable. Pujya Swamiji classifies the desires as binding and non-binding desires. Binding and non-binding. Binding desires are the one which take you for a ride. Non-binding desires are the one which are either for your sustenance, or which are for the benefit of others. Just like Krishna giving Gita for the benefit of others. Just like Vyasa composing the Vedas for the benefit of others. They are non-binding desires. Shankara, Bhagavan Sri Shankara writing the commentary for all this within his short lifespan. That is a non-binding, very highly elevated desires for the sake of the humanity. And the non-binding desires or something can be for just for your own sustenance in terms of having the minimum clothing, shelter, food, security. But the binding desires are ones which take us for the ride. So we have to be very reasonable. And when we say all desires, we have to say those are the binding desires, which are the problem. See how Puja Swamiji makes it so reasonable, right? So that modern translation, you have to give up all desires. We all listen that and we go, but that doesn't work on us, right? So when we hear Vedanta, it should work here and now. That is how it should be. So this is all I would like to say regarding this shloka. Puja Swamiji has given a class and a half, hour and a half session on this shloka. I am completing this shloka right here. Just will give you the translation one more time. When a person gives up all the desires, as I explained, binding desires as they appear in the mind, it's no more binding for that wise person. But for us, it's a binding desire which we should try to grow over, mature over. O Arjuna, and who is happy in oneself. Puja Swamiji has used the word oneself. With oneself, in terms of self-knowledge, with oneself alone, that person is said to be the one who is a sthita prajna, who is of ascertained knowledge, ascertained self-knowledge. All right? So this is what I would like to say, and this is all applicable to all of us. This is not just applicable for sannyasis. Because Vyasa, Vasishta, all those great rishis, they were all grahastha. And they could accomplish great things. They could be that wise man. So this is for all of us. Not just for Janakadi. All this. Vasishta and all these examples are given by some Tikakaras. Vasishta, Vyasa, all these examples are given. They are also rishis, munis, at the same time. They were grihasthas. Janaka, as Swamiji is pointing, was a king. So this is for all of us. After having seen this, we'll have to go to the next verse. Please come with me to the next verse. Kincha. Kincha means moving forward. Moreover. That's what the kincha. Moving forward, moreover. So this is verse number 46. Dukkeshvanu manaha.
Dukkeshvanu manaha.
Sukeshu vihataspruhah.
Sukeshu vihataspruhah.
Vitaraghabhaya krodhah.
Vitaraghabhaya krodhah.
Sthitadhir muniruchyate.
Sthitadhir muniruchyate.
So again, there's a yada, tada you can add. As and when these expressions are there. Now let us, if you talk about the last shloka just for 1 second. Now in conclusion, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, remember Arjuna's question. Arjuna's question, the second part was, how does he walk, talk and eat, right? And Bhagavan Sri Krishna is just mentioning, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushta. Remember this. So I don't want to retranslate. I've been telling that in several words. What I want to say is, Bhagavan's answer is in simple terms. To be a wise person is to be wise. To be wise is to be a wise person. Wisdom makes a wise person. Right? So now coming back to this shloka, let us see more about this wise person. Yada you can add, Then dukkeshu. Dukkeshu means in sorrow. In sorrows, plural. All sorts of sorrows. We'll see that. Anuvigna manaha. All sorts of adversities. Anuvigna manaha. One who is not affected. Remember, not getting affected doesn't mean he doesn't recognize. Not getting affected doesn't mean he doesn't do anything about it. In fact, it is everything about recognizing and everything about doing also. It looks as though he is not affected emotionally in the way Ajnani would get affected. An otherwise person would get affected. Vigatas priha, sukeshu, and how about sukha? Dukkeshu is not affected. How about sukha, happiness? How about something which gives him joy? Vigatas priha, the spruha, the yearning is not there. The longing, I want more, bring me more, that is not there. Vigatas priha. Then Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. That is the second part in this verse. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha is free. Vita is free, freedom. Freedom in terms of, or freedom from extreme desires, in terms of, binding desires, in terms of extreme likes and dislikes, and freedom from fear. Fear factors may be there. In and through, he is free from that fear. Then also from krodha. Krodha means anger. We'll see this is all applicable to all of us, right? So this kind of fear, anger, and all that. We'll see this shloka, and maybe we'll have time only for this shloka today, and we'll conclude after this shloka. So this is what is said to be a wise person whose knowledge remains. This is what is said to be a wise person. Sitadihi, the one whose knowledge is settled. Who's that? Then Muni Ruchyate. This is what we call a Munihi, or a wise man. So Arjuna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna already answered Arjuna's question. Being awake to yourself is what it takes to be a wise man. That is a description of a wise man. Now, free from response. Now let us see, for this shloka, we have this word dukkeshu. Dukkeshu, we have to see what is dukkeshu, in the sense, what are the sorrows? Because all the sorrows have the same effect. But here, sorrows in terms of the different sources of sorrow. What all the different sources of sorrow? It can be, the sorrow can be yourself. You can be the source of your body, can be the source of sorrow in terms of pain, fever, sickness, and all that, right? That is called adhyatmika dukkha. Adhyatmika dukkha. Then adi bhautika. What is adi bhautika? Bugs. Bugs can make you unhappy. And somebody who's bugging also can make you unhappy. As Puja Swami said. It's from sources outside. Immediate sources, outside immediate sources. Boss. Then that is called Adi Bhautika. Then Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, then Adi Daivika, factors over which you have no control. Earthquakes, lightning, and those extreme heat and cold. Volcanoes, extreme heat and cold. Lightning, I told lightning already, Swamiji. So these can be the source of dukkha or sorrow. Tsunami was a big source of sorrow for several people when it happened. Right now, we have the source of sorrow for several people is the virus, which is going on. Source of fear, right? For those who are not affected, source of fear. For those who are affected, it is a source of sorrow. So these sources are always active. The virus is always active around us. The sources are active. So this person recognizes the source. Wise person recognizes the source, and he takes whatever is, does whatever is appropriate, but he's not affected, he's not emotionally carried away. That is what it means by anudvigna manaha, long compound word. Vigna is not that Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Sashi Vigna Vinayaka. That Vigna is different. That Vigna is the aspirated Gna. Here Vigna is unaspirated. So he doesn't go along with the dukkha. That is what it means. Maybe from the gati dhatu, gam dhatu. He doesn't go along, he doesn't get carried away along with the sorrow. So he doesn't become, when there is pain, he doesn't become the pain. He doesn't become the pain for himself, and he doesn't become a pain for someone else. He becomes the manager of the pain. That is what is this person. He is not swept off his feet. And how about happiness? Sukha. Sukha. There's no earning, there's no longing, there's no hankering, there's no trishna. There's no like encore. One more time. Once more. He's not tossed around like a football when he's so happy in terms of his happiness. That kind of a longing, very practical. An happy situation makes him happy, but that longing to go after it, it's not there. Candy can make the child happy, but what does the child do? He goes after more candies, until the point he becomes sick. That is why, because he doesn't have the he's a discrimination. He doesn't have the discernment. He doesn't have the jnana. He doesn't have the knowledge. Person who has no knowledge goes after again and again. How about us who are pursuing knowledge? We cannot do the same. So, beautiful example is given by Adi Shankaracharya here. Fire, if you take the example of fire, what it does when you add some fuel, add some fuel in terms of wood, or add some fuel in terms of ghee, when you add ghee, because these are all ancient examples, you add ghee or some other source of fuel. What does it do? Does it say enough, don't add anymore? And it goes, does it cringe itself and says, don't know? No, it takes it and grows more. It opens up all its tongue. It shows off all its tongue and asks for more. You give more, it asks for even more. Is it practical for us to also do the same? We cannot be the same, right? So that kind of tossing around, earning, tossing around is not there. Tossing around is not there. That is what is called vigata spruha. Spruha. Vigata is that spruha, that trishna, that yearning, hankering is gone. Vigata is gone for this wise man. Effortlessly. Not that he has to, they do put a lot of effort for that. And for us also effortlessly, because we are having this right attitude of karma yoga, Ishwararpana buddhi, prasada buddhi, which we always, we have been seeing. Then, Vitaraga bhaya krodha, we saw that, right? Ragascha bhayancha krodascha vita vigata yasmat, from whom? Raga. Raga, you see, it starts like a benign desire. Raga is, kind of, it's a, as I told you, strong binding like and dislike for something. For both, you have to put some effort. To keep what you don't like away from you, you have to put even more effort sometimes, right? And so that kind of a raga, that kind of a thing, raga is gone. It has become toothless. Absence of raga. Because this raga can be a source of fear also. How can this strong like be a source of fear? As, a strong like is a strong desire. And then it can be a source of fear because it is not there. Where that desire is not there. The dvesha, When there is a raga, there is also dvesha. Dvesha is, it's another word for fear. You don't want that. And Puja Swami, we have to see how more important when we see all this is how does this wise man how did he achieve this? That is also equally important. How did he achieve this? Because fear, when a person sees his own shadow and fears, what is he fearing? He's fearing his own shadow. Why is he fearing? Because he doesn't know it is his own shadow. Ajnana, again the jnana is not there, that is his own shadow. That is why he is fearing. Right? And this is why the fear is because of ajnana. Then if you take the wave, for example, the wave is fearing that it is disappearing, I'm gone, I'm going to go in the next second. But it was all in and through, it was only water. What does it is fearing? Wave is fearing its death. A wave is fearing its death. It is seeing the next wave, and it is seeing the next wave dying, and it is sad. Well, this wave has been water all through. So this fear is all because of fear of death and everything, because of the ajnana, because of our own lack of knowledge regarding who we are in reality. So that kind of a fear is absent. Then there is fear from anger also. Vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. Anger. And you see the difference between fear and anger. Fear is something else can inflict upon you. And it shows off in yourself with some redness in eyes, or some scare, some shivering in the body. Anger is something which you inflict upon someone else, and you cause fear in someone because of your anger, and because of someone's fear, you are also angry with that person, right? So this is how it is. And one Mahatma very beautifully says, Swami Akhandan Saraswati, I heard this from our Puja Swami Pratik Bodhanji. When the anger arises, it first, when fire starts, it first burns the place where it starts, and then it spreads outside. Likewise, when anger starts, it first creates the burning in oneself, and then it tries to affect the other person. So that kind of a disadvantage it is there with anger. So this anger, and as I told you, it is connected with fear also. That is not there. And I told you, fear is because of the duality, because of the sense of duality. Sense of duality, when we say, we don't say there's no second thing. We say there's only one reality. There's oneness in spite of duality. I have to focus on we have to, when we think of the oneness, we interact. I interact with you because of the oneness, not because of the differences. Because of the oneness, there is scope for this interaction. The scope for this interaction, right? That is all originating from that oneness. If I only worry so much regarding the differences between myself and who are all listening, and between myself and who I am communicating, then I won't be able to communicate. I'll be full of fear. I'll be full of pessimism. So you see how the knowledge of oneness works in resolving all these things. So that is the wise person who has that knowledge. Sthita dihi munihi uchyate. Dihi is buddhi. His buddhi is steady. His buddhi is settled. See, when I say study, it looks as if there's some effort required for keeping it steady. No, it is settled. It is been there, done that kind of an attitude. Been there, done that, and it is gati nivartav. Stha gati nivartav. The stha, it is study and standing all have the same root. Stha. When the child is doing all sorts of things, you say, stop. What does the child do? What does the child do to stop? he stands, stays still, stands. So that kind of a steadiness in terms of being there, done that. That is a steadiness we talked about. So this is the shloka I would want to also do today, and I think I've done justice to the words in the shloka. I hope you're also appreciative, and I'm always welcoming questions.
The next verse.
Swamiji says I can read the next verse. Before that, just the translation. This verse: the one who is not affected in adversities by adversities, and who is not tossed around like a football, is not earning and not much of an earning for pleasures, who's free from longing, fear, and anger. He is said to be a wise person whose knowledge always remains. And Swamiji says we'll quickly read the next verse and we can conclude. Further, yes sarvatra nabhisnehah
सर्वत्र विस्नेहः
tat tat prapya shubha shubham
तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम्
nabhinandati nadveshti
नापि नन्दति न द्वेष्टि
tasya prajna pratisthita.
प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
This tasya prajna pratisthita keeps coming. His prajna is pratisthita. His the prajna, his knowledge is steady. That steadiness is what he's holding on to. So that will keep coming. Many such slokas are coming. There's also the slokas saying ladder of raise and ladder of fall. It's a beautiful example of how a tortoise, I gave it away. The tortoise, how it kind of withdraws his limbs, and how the sthita prajna purusha is like that. All that we should be able to see next time when we have a longer session. Today is a special day. Yeah, Independence Day. It is right after my lecture on Zoom. We have Swami Pratik Bodhanji's satsang. I'll give the details after Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.